Hi, this is a video about just kind of reviewing quantum numbers. We have 4 quantum numbers. The first one is called N, and this is the main energy level. It's called the principal quantum number. So N is going to equal 1, 2, up to 7. And then we have L, which is the angular quantum number. And this one is going to tell us it's equal to n minus 1. So, for example, if n equals 3, then we know that L equals n minus 1 would be 2. But there's also an L value of 1 and 0. So the values of the angular quantum number tell us the shapes. So sphere S shape is L equals 0, P is L equals 1, the D shapes L equals 2, and the F is L equals 3. M sub L is the magnetic quantum number, and this is going to equal a negative L to positive L, including 0. So if we're talking about the P shape, we know that L is 1. So we would have a negative 1, 0, and a positive 1. It's the way that it's going to be orient in space. So there's the negative 1, the 0, and the positive 1. The main thing is that you can see that there's 1, 2, 3 ways that it can be, which is really then telling you the number of orbitals. And then lastly, there is the spin. So electrons, this is the spin quantum number. When electrons are in the same orbital, they are going to have opposite spin. So one would spin with a plus 1/2 value, and the other would have to spin opposite. And we show this if we're drawing like an orbital diagram, where that's the orbital and the electrons are arrows. We would show one electron spinning up and one spinning down. So I would recommend that you fill out this table with me. So this is kind of just looking at a lot of different things. We'll do it for n equals 1 through 4. So if we're talking about the first main energy level, whatever the energy level is, that's how many sublevels we have. So we have 1 sublevel, and it's called 1s. S sublevels always have 1 orbital. So our total number of orbitals is still just 1 in this case. And every 1 orbital can hold up to 2 electrons. So the maximum number of electrons when you are in that first energy level is 2. If n equals 2, now we're in the second main energy level. So we have 2 sublevels. We have n equals, not n, but we have a 2s and a 2p sublevel. The number of orbitals, so the 2s still, s always has 1 orbital, and now the p has 3. So my total orbitals is 4. My electrons per sublevel, so I can have in the 2s, I could have 2 electrons. In the 2p, I can have 6. So the total number of electrons is 8, which is also going to just be double whatever the number of orbitals are, because the orbital can hold up to 2 electrons. So if n equals 3, remember this number of sublevels equals the value of n. So we would have 3 sublevels. We have a 3s, 3p, and a 3d now. So it's the first time we've seen the d sublevel. Number of orbitals, the 3s has 1, the 3p has 3 orbitals, and the 3d has 5. So we have a total of 9 orbitals. So we know we're going to have 18 electrons because each one can hold up to 2 electrons. And then the number of electrons, so we know the 3s can hold 2 electrons, 3p can hold 6, and the 3d can hold 10. So I'm just going to continue, and we will keep going now. Whoops, I should go there. So if we're in the 4th principal energy level, we will have 4 sublevels. We will have the 4s, the 4p, the 4d, and now the 4f. So that's the first time we've seen the f's. Number of orbitals, s always has 1, p always has 3, d has 5, and now f has 7 orbitals. That gives me a total of 16 orbitals if you add those together. You can also take n squared, which would be 4 squared, which would give me 16. So then we also know then the maximum electrons would be that times 2, or 32. You could also do 2n squared. So the electrons for the 4s, we can have 2 electrons, 4p 6, 4d 10, and 4f we can have 14. I hope that helps.